Hello, everyone. Hello, welcome to another episode of Read With Me. I'm yours truly, Isabel Badell. I'm here to do something different. I'm here to read with you in a different corner of my office because I feel like it. And it's raining outside, so I didn't feel like sitting at my regular spot. So I'm sitting at in my sofa in my office because it feels nice. And why not? Let's lighten up the mood. So we're going to be reading chapter 10. There's three parts to chapter 10. It's beyond brick and mortar. There's no elevator to success. You have to take the stairs. That is from an author that is unknown. And that's a really nice quote there. Beyond brick and mortar. Shall we? Let's get into it. Okay. I don't know if you can tell, but it's like a big storm outside. And it feels really nice to actually just, be inside and not have to deal with the storm and actually just read. I'm actually brewing some tea later and taking a relaxing moment after this. So if you are, listening into this, make sure to take some time for yourself, take some time to recharge, find a way for you to recharge, find a way for you to, if that means either being by yourself or, going out for a walk or brewing some tea and reading, do it. You deserve it. So let's get into it, shall we? Awesome. Investors today are so lucky. Throughout most of the 19th and 20th century, the only way to sell your new product, unless you went door to door, was through brick and mortar stores or mail order catalogs. In the last 2 decades, however, our options have mushroomed, allowing us to sell from the old standbys as well as through TV, our own websites, online retailers, social commerce sites. Interestingly, all of this e-commerce, which some might have predicted would have weakened direct response marketing channels like television, home shopping networks, the way Amazon disseminated bookstores, has instead only served to increase their power, prestige, and sales reach. Though all the above selling venues should play a role in your selling strategy, in my opinion, there is simply no better selling medium for a new inventor than a shopping channel like QVC. A few moments on QVC can open up a whole world of retail opportunities. In addition, it puts you in the same company as brands like Apple, Nikon, Bose, and We for electronics, Philosophy, Clinique, and Eloctane for makeup, and Calvin Klein, Lucky Brand, and Dooney and Burke for fashion, among thousands of others. Every big brand wants to be on QVC. It's king. It's an 8.5 billion retailer that shipped more than 166 million products in 2012 across its global markets. Its viewing audience is comparable in scale to major networks like Lifetime, Bravo, and A&E, and it ranks number 2 in mobile commerce among multi-category retailers, second only to Amazon. That has changed completely. We are literally reading this book in 2022, and it's literally like 10 years from when she was talking about QVC making that stretch. I mean, Amazon is in the 60 billion mark. So, I mean, wow, things have changed, huh? Wow. And then she goes into why television still matters in the internet age. I made my career on TV because I happened to invent highly demonstratable products. So that's where I knew I would see my biggest success. There's nowhere else I know of where you can sell thousands of units within minutes. Their first time on QVC, the inventors of Fiber Fix, one of my Shark Tank deals, sold 16,000 units in 10 minutes, the equivalent of 300,000 at retail. As discussed in Chapter 2, demonstratable products are items that can be physically demonstrated in front of consumers so they can immediately witness and experience the product's features, benefits, and problem-solving capabilities. It's all about the visual. A lamp is not demonstratable unless it can adjust its brightness according to the amount of natural light coming into the room. A picture frame just hangs there, inanimate. But a frame that shows over 100 photos with the press of a button, one flipping to the next is demonstratable and could possibly sell on television. Even ordinary objects that don't usually bear a second thought can become demonstratable. For instance, everyone thinks they know what a vacuum cleaner does until they watch one pick up glass, nails, sand, and even bowling balls. Suddenly, the consumer becomes aware that all vacuum cleaners are not the same. With a demonstratable product, the consumer can see physical proof that one item is better than another. Jewelry is an example of something that is demonstratable, yet it sells really well on TV because people can decide instantly whether or not they like it. And TV shopping channels bring jewelry in the consumer in an affordable, informative, and fun way. It's an impulse buy, obviously. Impulse buy. Television allows consumers to understand products in a way that even the best packaging displayed on a retail shelf cannot. Aside from demonstratability, the questions you'd ask to determine whether your product is the right fit for TV were similar to the ones you'd ask for any other product you wanted to sell. And here are some really, really great questions that you should ask yourself too, regardless if you're selling a digital product or if you're selling a physical product. So, number one, is it unique? Is there a need for it? Is it a good price point? Have you done research that indicates that the market actually wants that? Is it affordable? Typically, for a product to sell on a TV shopping channel, the cost has to be at least $14 or more to the consumer, because once you actually factor in the cost of shipping, you don't want the consumer to pay for shipping and handling than they do for the product. So QVC, for example, does not sell products for under $14, and it's why inexpensive items under $10 are usually sold in a set of 2 or 3 on shopping channels. Is it a manageable size? Your product can't be too massive because it needs to be something that can be easily shipped, for which people would be willing to pay shipping and handling. The larger and heavier the item, the higher the shipping and handling costs. If your product meets all these criteria, you probably have the makings of a successful television sales item. And whenever I hear like a television, I think of like channels like Instagram, channels like Facebook, even channels here on YouTube. Like we've seen it, and I'm sure that you've been aware of it. Whoever's watching this, like people literally go on live on their channels, and they're literally being able to sell on the spot. Another term is like a webinar, something like that. And even for high ticket items, this comes into handy, right? Who buys from television shopping networks? Let's go. She's about to get into it. Well, it's not primarily for grandmothers, all right? As Kevin O'Leary once snipped on Shark Tank. I get along great with Kevin, but as I joked right after he said that, the day his comment made me want to pull out my driver and hit his bald, white, dimply head 100 yards away from me. Here's how badly misinformed Kevin is. Television shopping networks do appeal to a highly female demographic, but so do most retail sellers. Women are the main buyers in all consumer categories except electronics. However, men shop on television too. At QVC, 15% of the consumers are men, 23% of the consumers are 25 to 44 years old, 48% are 45 to 64 years old. 48% are 45 to 64 years old. That's interesting. The audience includes shoppers from socioeconomic demographics. 88% are homeowners with an average net worth of $249,000. A significant number live in the Tony 90210 California zip code. Once QVC wanted to reward all the people who spent $500,000 a year or more with the channel by inviting them to a special event. As attendees streamed through the door of the studio, it was enlightening to see that a diverse group they actually were. They represented the typical customers you'd see walking down the street in any major city, all ages, all ethnicities, moms with daughters, husbands, and wives. At one time, people might have been reluctant to admit that they shopped on television, but like internet dating, it has gone mainstream and it is considered a welcome convenience in our busy lives. Most, if not all, the networks have mobile apps that allow consumers to watch the shows and shop on their digital devices. Shark Tank, too, has added to people's awareness in the medium, not just because I'm on it, but also because entrepreneurs know the extreme value of getting on QVC. Give an entrepreneur a shot at QVC, which is by far the largest of the TV shopping networks, HSN, Shop HQ, previously Shop NBC, or the third and the second, respectfully. And they act like they've given you the moon. That's why people want to get on QVC. The reason entrepreneurs love television shopping networks is that they offer inventors a number of advantages. Some of the advantages are tremendous reach, instant sales, free marketing and advertising, free market research, instant consumer feedback. After airing on all TV shopping channels, some entrepreneurs see explosive sales spikes, both online and in store as well, sometimes as high as 30%. When you look at a product on a retail shelf, you don't know half of what it does until you take it home and try it yourself. The packaging does all the talking, but on a television sales show, your product has a voice. When I demonstrate my no mess cooking utensils, I can show home cooks how they never need to mess up their counters by setting dirty utensils on them or using a dish as a spoon. Just by stirring and hanging my utensil on the side of the pot, viewers can watch me close and how I touch the handles and not get burned because they are silicone coated, and how they are great as cooking utensils and serving utensils as well. I can also try the same experiment with a competitor's cooking utensils and show what I call the submarine spoon that dives under the surface when you set it along the rim. Viewers can see for themselves the difference and why my product is better. I can dramatize the product and show you the solutions. You can't get the same perspective when you see cooking utensils dangling from a cardboard hanging in the store. The demonstration makes the item for sale seem alluring and seductive. The product looks wonderful. You're showing off its usefulness and how much you enjoy it. And suddenly the consumer just has to try it for themselves. And if you produce good quality products, they'll be glad that they did make that next step to buying your product. As for the instantaneous feedback, television retailers often let you speak directly to your consumers while selling. QVC, for example, will often put up a testimonial phone number on the screen to give people a chance to call in and express their opinions about a brand or a product. Customers call in to order and are asked to speak on air, or they can ask to do it. I love talking to my customers live. In addition, customers can post comments and reviews online for you to review and respond. With so many ways to customers to offer their opinions, it doesn't take a long to know whether your product is a hero. It's so crazy how technology has advanced. She's talking about literally what happens in a webinar or what happens on live workshops. It's really cool how I'm so grateful that technology continues to advance and we have so many opportunities to grow in our business and continue to just advance. I love that. So here she's going to get into how we actually get on air. All right, let's get into it. Something not many people know is that I was actually rejected by QVC the first time I tried to sell my product there. I became familiar with the channel because my mother had started watching it after hurting her back and shopping had become difficult for her. So she loved how easy it was to pick up the phone, place your order, and see your item show up on your doorsteps a few days later. She was hooked, and I was amazed at how engrossing it was. Damn, I can see how that's addicting for people. Right after I created my first product, I realized how highly demonstratable it was, and I knew it would be perfect for TV sales. Even as I successfully stalked retailers with my readout button, landing a contract with JCPenney and eventually Marshall Fields and among other retailers, I made the television channels my other main goal. I sent QVC a sample of my product. They promptly returned it with a no thank you. It's somewhat easier to get on now, but back then, once you were turned away, that was it. The wall was virtually impenetrable. I was so disappointed, but there were so many other fish in the sea. So I decided to set my sights on the home shopping networks like HSN and so on. Once again, I spent weeks hitting the readout button trying to reach the home shopping network buyer's office in Tampa. Finally, one evening night before 5 p.m., a woman picked up the phone. I blurted out my quick line about my revolutionary new product as fast as I could, and then I told her that I was going to be in Tampa and I would love to introduce myself in person. As usual, I did not have a ticket to Tampa, but if she said she'd meet with me, the very next call I made was going to be to the airlines. That's when the woman interrupted me. Let me stop you, she said. I'm only going to be the buyer. I'm only going to be with the buyer 2 more weeks. I'm moving to Chicago, so I really won't be able to help you. Famous last words, I replied. Funny coincidence. I'm from Chicago. Is there anything that you need or want, or any information that I can give you about Chicago to get you set up? I'd be happy to help. Would you please pass me on to whoever is the next buyer? And she said, I actually could use some help. Sure. And that's how I got my big break on television. I flew down to meet the new buyer, a woman named Lori Greiner, and showed her my earring organizer. Next thing I knew, she had ordered 3,000 units and told me to be ready to go on air in 6 weeks. My product was made in the United States, and the injection molded manufacturers typically make thousands of units in a week. So I could place an order and get it to their warehouse right away. That's another huge benefit of making a product in the United States. You don't need the 35 to 45 on the water through the port and trucking to a warehouse the way products made overseas do. That's pretty awesome. That's really, really awesome. Cool. So here she goes, pitching for TV buyers. Which shopping networks should you aim for? Shopping networks generally carry similar items: home goods, cosmetics, jewelry, electronics, and apparel. Though brands and price points vary, okay, QVC is known for showing a wide variety of products in a quick session, more than 1,000 per week. HSN keeps products on the air for longer periods of time. Not everyone is going to open the door for you, especially if you have only one item to sell. The TV shopping channels want the next big thing. It helps if you're an entrepreneur who knows the ropes, but that doesn't mean an inventor with one terrific product can get a spot on any of these channels. It just means that there's a bigger learning curve, and it will be more of a challenge than if you had several items to offer. The channel seems to be moving towards opening up to new entrepreneurs than before, based on establishment of initiatives like QVC Sprouts program, which allows viewers to vote on which new inventions will get a shot on the air. You pitch differently to a television buyer than to a buyer for a brick and mortar store. A good product is a good product. They're both going to want it. But there's There are considerations a brick and mortar store buyer must think about that a television buyer does not. Packaging, for example, in a brick and mortar setting, it's understood that your packaging is going to do a lot for your selling, for you to sell, but it's also going to be determined by, to a degree, whether the item is easy for the store to stock and display. Size matters a lot. Shape matters. Retailers have space considerations that television channels do not. I sell a fun and hugely popular item called the corduroy beanbag bed. It was one of Shark Tank's deals. It's a comfy beanbag that unzips and turns into a plush full-size bed. It's packaged in a large box. Though, when we wanted to sell it in retailers, we had to figure out ahead of time how to address their inevitable concern about how they were going to store and display a big piece. Our solution was to suggest they display one beanbag bed, but pack the colorful slip covers separately in a little hanging bag. That way, they could see the shape and the size of the bed and they can choose their array of colors. But the store didn't have of a large a large box for every color, which would take up too much shelf space in the warehouse space. This goes back to thinking ahead when you're pitching and trying to address every question a buyer could possibly have, anticipating any problem and showing that you have a solution already. When you're pitching to a buyer for a TV shopping channel, be passionate, show your product come to life, and be as appealing as you would hope your product to be. TV sales are a visual medium, so make sure that the buyer falls in love with you and your product. For example, the bean bag is an easy pitch. First, it's a bean bag, and then you unzip the outer cover and it transforms into a bed. Give your guests a comfortable place to rest when they arrive without having to store a large, bulky air mattress in an overstuffed closet when they leave. It's fun, it's practical, it's furniture that solves the problem. And the size of the product wasn't even an issue. QVC ships a large percentage of what they sell, but some items, especially large ones or food, are drop shipped directly from the supplier's own warehouse or factory. Passion and enthusiasm are infectious. People always tell me that I come across so passionately about my products. I genuinely love them and it shows. You have to be genuine. That's key. If I don't like it, I'm not going to sell it. Some inventors do go on and sell their products, but not everybody is comfortable on TV or wants to be on TV. A lot of the people who sell products on TV are called on-air demonstrators. They do not create the product, but they are hired by the company to pitch the person or the demonstrator on air. You'll see them more often than an inventor actually sells his or her product. That's because more large companies or brands make products than do the inventors. Consider yourself lucky to get in where you can and do your very best. Make sure you're on time and it's so successful that the network can't wait to invite you back. That's how you make more opportunities happen. In fact, that's how I actually got into QVC. Once I started successfully selling on the Home Shopping Network, I called QVC UK in London and I told them that I had this great product that was selling like gangbusters on the Home Shopping Network in the United States. I gave them my sales number and sent them a sample, and then they agreed to let me on the air. So I flew to London and sold my earring organizer on QVC UK, where it sold out. Then I called the shopping network in Canada and followed the same script. They let me air, and it actually sold out again. By then, I had started developing more products, and within months, I was selling all of them in the United States, the UK, and Canada. I kept rolling over the money, putting it back into the business so I could keep making new products. The pressure was so intense. On TV, you're only as good as your last performance. So it was nerve-wracking because I never knew whether I'd meet the same sales the next time I walked out in front of the camera. So I proceeded with confidence, but I never took anything for granted because things can always change. Fortunately for me, when they did, it was decisively in my favor. I was extremely happy with the Home Shopping Network and felt extreme gratitude and loyalty to the buyers who had made my career there possible. But then she was moved to become the buyer of accessories, and we no longer work together. Her replacement took a long time to get settled in and didn't return my calls and reach out to me. This is not unusual. Buyers are so busy. She was getting familiar with the new position and had just a few SKUs, so I probably was not considered very important, but had no idea when I was going to get another purchase order if ever. I hung in there for at least 3 months, but then I decided I couldn't stay in their limbo forever. So I called Lori, my original Home Shopping Network buyer, and I asked if she would be upset if I tried to sell to QVC. She told me that she understood my position and that I should never do what was best for my and that I should always do what is best for your business. I called my QVC UK buyer and told her that I would like to get on QVC USA and if she could actually make the necessary introductions. She did. And the buyer ordered 3,000 units and scheduled an air date. I was terrified because I suddenly faced with a big choice: stay with Home Shopping Network or where I knew the ropes and I felt like I could continue to enjoy success, or try selling on another channel and risk failing flat on my face and losing everything. That's because as soon as Home Shopping Network knew that I sold on QVC, they would actually terminate my product there because they're competitors. These channels are very competitive, and it is not often that you would sell on both at the same time. Also, there are better and worse time slots and days of the week, and there is no way to predict which ones the QVC USA buyer would actually give me. What if I tanked? In TV sales, if you don't sell well, you rarely get another chance to present. The bottom line in airtime is money, and you need to do the dollars per minute required for your assigned time slot to stay on air and be reordered. Fortunately, when I went on QVC, my product sold out. Funny though, within minutes of going off the air, my phone rang. It was the director of my product category at the Home Shopping Network, who must have seen or heard that I was selling on QVC. She was not happy. I formally switched and began selling exclusively on QVC. 16 years later, I am still there. Wow, what a story. What a story. I mean, it's that hustle, it's that drive. And I really appreciate Lori for what she does, because like we might see her now on Shark Tank, we might see her on QVC, and like she looks all put together and like it's like different now. Obviously, that she's been through so much that, it's she's in a different level, but it's different when you're actually looking to get those deals. Like you'll do anything. And she's the type of person that is a true hustler. Like I love that about her and I really respect that. So what a great way to end part 1 of chapter 10. There's 3 parts to chapter 10, super juicy stuff. As you can see, it's still raining and it's even raining even harder now. And I'm so pumped to get this tea. Whoever loves mint tea, make sure to, if you like mint tea, smash the like button. Make sure to hit the subscribe button too. Check out the other videos that we have on the channel. Our goal here is to read 22 books this year for 2022. And it's one of the best decisions that we've done, honestly. Like before this year, I never read more than maybe half a book. Okay, let's be real. But this year alone, like we're in April, about to end April here. We've read about 8 books now. Well, we're going to be finishing off with 8 books. But if you guys don't know, I've actually been listening to 3 different audiobooks in the past couple months about a different topic that I'm really, really excited about. And honestly, like now it's just like, I love doing this. So if you haven't picked up a book, if you haven't experimented with reading, I highly encourage you to do so, even if it's a book that you don't care about, or even if it's like, um, how do I explain it? Like, for example, this particular book, honestly, like the reason why I picked it up is because I'm looking to expand my awareness. You know, I'm looking to really expand my, yeah, my awareness on business, period. You know, like, yeah, I might not have any desire at the moment to actually invent or create a physical product, but who knows, maybe in a year or two from now, I would definitely want to create a product, or maybe I purchase a company that sells products and I want to know that, or I go to an event or a mastermind and then there's very wealthy people in there that, you know, sell products. I want to be able to have a conversation with these people. And one thing that I have gotten from this book is the deep appreciation for physical products, because it's one thing, you know, buying something or getting it shipped from Amazon and then arriving at your door. Yes, that's really awesome, a great feeling. But then you also need to understand, like, there's a lot of work that actually came into having that actually be a reality. So, a sense of gratitude is so relevant with all this. So, I hope you're having a beautiful, beautiful day. I hope you have an incredible evening or morning wherever you are in the world. And I will see you in the next video where we dive deeper into chapter 10, part 2 of Invent It, Sell It, Bank It.